go back here. Alright guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you guys how to boot up my kernel. Still have to find a place to upload the file to. But anyways, I have a couple more things to show you guys in the MXQ first. So connect your USB back to your MXQ and boot up your system. Don't push enter, let it go all the way. There's just one setting or the disk space I want to show you guys. Doop, 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 doop. Right, so right now I just want to show you guys the actual byte size of all your drives. So to find that out, just when it gets to here and pretty much stable, not that much text spinning out on you, you can LS it if you want or whatever. Still going pretty crazy. Again, don't boot up with the HDMI or the network cable. So anytime anyways, just push type DF and then push enter. And then just in case more junk comes out or whatever, just push the up arrow. And this will allow you to copy and paste it from here, or at least copy it without the extra junk. So basically this is what we're after here. Is the system is 991 megs and the data is 5.1 gig. We're actually going to do both of them. So anyways, for now you can just copy this. So in the next step, I'm going to be showing you guys how to partition your USB stick or a hard drive. Right, so once you have that, get back here and just unplug your MXQ, but this time when you plug it back in, push the enter because we're going to be hitting up U-boot. Alright, once in U-boot, you're going to want to type print boot CMD. So this is your current boot CMD, is your run store boot. Again, watch my first video because you should have all your settings here backed up. So if I go down here, and the last time we were doing this, I had saved a file. I showed you guys how. It's just in case you want to revert back and you forget what the settings actually were. So here it is here, boot CMD equals run store boot. That's the one we're going to be changing. Now to change it, I'm not going to type it out. I'm going to include a text file with my firmware or with the kernel, and I'll probably put it in my description or I'll comment again. So the file I'll include is here. I'm not sure what the name will be. Anyways, the whole line here, including the quotes, you have to copy it. Try not to make an extra line here because if you do that, it'll automatically enter it for you. You don't want that, just in case you mess up. So just copy that. Right, so here when you're back at this screen, just go to your edit and go paste and then push enter. So this time when you go print boot CMD, it should show up with this without the quotes. So here it is now, USB start, fat load, blah, blah, blah. So basically this is my very cheesy failsafe. What it does is it starts the USB. It tries to load to this address and this file. Now if you don't have the USB stick in or USB hard drive put in place, it's just going to error out, but at least it's going to continue on and it's going to boot the memory. And then it's going to run the store boot. And everything should be fine. So now once you're sure that's okay, you want to type this, save ENV, and then push enter. So that's it for that. So now the next step will be jumping into Linux. Get yourself a Kali build or something. There's actually a VMware version that you can just download. So basically you go to VM player site, you download that, and you can go to Kali and download the the ISO image, and they're both free, so it's quite easy to get it going. So now you can just unplug the MXQ, and we're going to jump into Linux now. Okay, once you have Kali installed, if you install the VMware version of it, they also have that on their webpage. It actually comes with VM tools. It should at least. If not, you can install it manual as well. The bonus of that is drag and drop stuff from your original OS to the virtual machine. It's a lot easier. But anyways, if you didn't do that, just plug in your USB drive, the ones you copied the files to, the USB system, and the SDA23 kernel. Make sure they're both enabled here. They both should stay connected, or if you just have the one connected. You might not actually have this show up either. But anyways, click Places, go to Home, right click, click New Folder, call this USB Files, then go to your USB stick and copy the files. So we want data image, SDA23, and system. So copy. And just paste them here. If you're going to be using the same thumb drive to copy these files to after, keep in mind it's going to destroy your USB stick, all the data on it. So if you need to back anything up after this is done, I would back up the files. Make sure you have them backed up somewhere. But for today, what I'm going to be doing is installing it on a USB drive instead. So this way you can get way more space, and it's a lot faster than USB. I tried this with a couple of USB sticks, and it's actually pretty slow. But after I installed it on a SATA drive, it's way quicker. Plus, I'm not sure how high you can go. So I think you probably get up to 500 gigs to a terabyte of space. So the bonus of that is you can actually have the movie drive as well to have dumps on it, and your data files can be humongous. But I'll fast forward this because this looks like it's going to take a while. Whatever. All right, all the 3 files got copied over. So if you're going to wipe out this drive, keep it in. If not, plug in the actual drive you want to format and put the new data and system files onto it. So in this case, I'm after this guy here. I just made it to 4.8 just to show you guys what to do. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to unmount this guy here, or actually just remove it out of my system so I don't get it confused. And I'm going to be dealing with this guy here. Now you'll want to go to here, your terminal, and you want to change directory to your USB files. So cd to USB files, and now type type gparted, and we're going to get the disk ready. Okay, so this would be your virtual drive here, your SDA1. What we're after is a USB stick. So go to Devices and go to SDB. Now the reason why I did this was just to show you guys that you have to actually unmount it. So choose Unmount. And it doesn't matter what it looks like here. You might only have a 16 gig thumb drive. Like I said, I'm going to be using a hard drive instead because it's way faster. So just delete this. Basically anything here, you just want to right click and delete if you can until it's all grayed out. Now you want to go to Device and say Create Partition Table, or choose Create Partition Table. And then push that. Apply. Again, you might have to go here because I think I jumped a step. So say choose create partition table, push apply. Okay, it's all good. All right, so now you want to go to partition and choose new. This is the part where we're going to be making this into FAT32. Kodi can actually read files right off of this. So if you are using a 500 gig hard drive and you want to have movies directly on your Kodi box, you can make this as big as you want. For now, we're just going to make it whatever. So we'll make it as close to 10 as possible. You can type here. Won't really be that. But anyways, change this one to FAT32. And just click add. You don't have to put a label down. Just click add. And then push apply. After that's done, click close. Now this is where it comes into the other files, depending what you're using. If you're only using like an 8 gig drive or a 16 gig USB stick, you want to get these pretty close. So back in the other system, the XP system, we had copied down a file. So we want to make the first one system, and we want to make it 991 megs. So we'll make it about 1.5 gigs. And in a data, we can just make 6 gigs. So 1.5 and 6. We're going to grow the data after, but for now, just make it 6 regardless of how much room you have left. Also, to get back on my little failsafe thing, I just want to correct myself here. Once it gets here and tries loading this up, and it does the boot.img command, what happens if there is no USB stick in? I showed you in the first video, if you just type boot.img, it errors out. This is when it would actually run the store boot and everything runs as normal. But anyways, we'll get back into the Linux machine now, or the Kali. All right, so we're back here again. We're going to make a new partition for the system now. And this one should be about 1.5. So anything close to that should be okay. So 1.2 is good enough. Say add. Depending how big your drive is too, you can just make it right to 2 right now as well. Just click add. Apply. And also, as I said before, your FAT can be small too. This is just so we can copy files and have movies on it as well. 10 gigs, you're not going to get that much. But if you have a 16 gig hard drive or thumb drive, you're going to want to make it about 100 megs instead of the 9 gigs. 100 megs will still be able to get you Kodi and stuff installed or whatever you want to copy transfer files back and forth to your system. So this part here, click new again. We're going to end up using all of it, but for now we're going to get down to 6. Click add. And apply and apply. The reason why we're doing this is making them different sizes right now instead of using all the space at once is because the next step actually wipes it out anyways, and you just have to repeat the whole step all over again regardless. So close that down. Alright, so now we're done this part of it. Again, I'm going to say that if you're using a 16 gig thumb drive, you can make your fat one partition here. You can make that 100 megs. You can make this one, the system, 1.2. And then your last one, just make it 6. And then after, with the last one at least, doesn't matter what you have, you'll be able to extend it. So now close down gparted. And then get back to your terminal. And we're already in USB files. So you can list it just to make sure the 3 files are actually there. Again, you're going to want to make sure you're typing it to the right place. I'll include a cheat sheet again, but if it says for your gparted, we'll go back there quickly again. Just make sure it's on, whoops. Anyways, click gparted, go to devices again, and just make sure it actually says SDB. So in my commands, the next commands I'm going to be putting down, if yours actually says SDBC or SDBD or whatever it might say, that's what you're going to have to change it to. So the first command you're going to want to type is this, gunzip -c system.img. You pipe it, dd of equals / dev sdb2. So sdb2 and bs equals 4096. So again, the sdb2 is the actual drive that we just made, and that'll be for our system. So after you got that typed out, push enter. Just like the other box, it might take a while. And if you don't want to start the Linux machine either, if you have a Windows formatting tool, you can actually format it the same way I did in here somehow with some kind of ext4 tool. And you could put both thumb drives into your MXQ, and you can copy the files over the same way as I'm doing here with the gunzip. All right, it's done, and this is why I'm using a USB hard drive instead of the USB stick. It's just a lot faster. Like here it's 13 megs or whatever. With the thumb drive, I think I was getting like 2, if that. And MXQ is pretty laggy with Kodi. For the first time it would turn on. You have to try a couple of times to get it on. So in case you actually are going to use a thumb drive, once you start Kodi or whatever you're going to try running, if it just turns off on you, you have to open it up again. Sometimes you have to try 2 or 3 times, but with the USB hard drive, it's really quick. All right, so the next one we want to do is SDB3, and that's going to be our data. Again, it's this time we're doing the data image. And this time it's SDB3, BS, oops, block size equals 4096, and then enter. This one takes a while too, just like the other box as well. I don't put any error or anything in it. There's no progress or anything as well. If you're a Linux guy or whatever, you might know all the commands. I'm fairly new to this. And if you have any comments or whatever to do it better, just add it to the comments on YouTube. Exit, you want to type gparted again. Go back to SDB. Make sure none of it's mounted. This guy here, we're going to want to grow now to the end. So go resize and move. If you only have an up arrow, say you don't have a down and an up, what you do is you just click once up just for 1 meg and actually click the resize. It'll take a couple of minutes, and then after that's done, go back again, re-click it, say resize, and this time you can stretch it out for the whole thing. I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the end just in case I want to do something here. I'm going to click resize and then apply. Okay, click close. My firmware doesn't include the read and write on this system. Alright, so we're done here. I don't think we can mount it. So go up here. So just click disconnect. And reconnect it. Alright, so here's our drives here. For in this instance, we made the 10 gigabyte our fat drive. So we'll want to copy over our kernel. Go back to your home folder. Find the USB files. You should be able to plug in your thumb drive into Windows. It should detect the fat drive only, and you should be able to copy files back and forth, hopefully. So here, just copy it on root. Again, if you're in Kodi or whatever, you're going to be copying your movies to this fat drive. Just make sure this is always on root. This will be the file that's actually being booted. So we're basically done this. I'll just show you guys a cheap video of it booting up into the MXQ. I don't have an input right now for my computer. I installed a new video card, and so it's going to be with my phone. I'll show you guys what the 16 gig file system looks like too quickly. So I'll just disconnect this drive here. Oops, wrong window. I'm going to disconnect the hard drive. And I'll plug in the 16 gig one I have. And again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, you have to use USB 1. I know it's on the side of the MXQ, so it might be kind of awkward always having a USB stick sticking out. Sadly, that's the only way it's going to work right now, unless somebody else mods the firmware. I tried putting it into the back, but U-boot just can't see that USB for some reason. Alright, so again, hit STB. And this is what a 16 gig looks like. So my FAT is 110 megs. My system is 100.07. And then I just basically use the rest, and that's 13 gigs for the rest of it. And again, I left just a little bit, 244 megs, in case I want to do something later. You can stretch this right to the end if you really wanted to. Alright, I'm going to boot up the MXQ box now. Usually most people would want to use a USB stick, and this is the port you would stick it in on the MXQ and USB 1. That's the only port my firmware accepts, but right now I'm going to be using a SATA hard drive. Later on I'm going to try figuring a way to mount this all inside the box itself so it's nice and clean. So this guy just gets plugged into here. And I'll show you some screenshots. It's going to be pretty bad because it's with this camera onto a TV, but we'll see what it looks like. Okay, again, I apologize for the quality of the film. The new video card I got is taking up my PCI slot. It's just too big. So I'll look into getting something a little bit better if I continue making these videos. When you boot up the system, make sure you don't have a mouse or another USB stick plugged into it. It might mess things up. And it's also going to take a little bit longer now to boot up because it's actually copying the files off your USB stick or your hard drive. I really suggest trying to get an external SDA or an external USB hard drive. It's just a lot faster. You can't even really tell the difference after it's in the system between the internal and the external. So I'm just going to let this play out in real time, I guess. Okay, put it in, plug in my mouse now. I'll just show you the extra storage place or room. So up here it'll say 97 gigs now and available 97. So if you have a 500 gig hard drive, obviously it'll be bigger. So Kodi, the one installed right now, is the 14.2. So now I'll show you. I'll exit this. Back. And now I'll plug in another drive and install Kodi. Hopefully it doesn't overload it. Okay, what I do is I don't uninstall it, I just force stop it. And I clear the cache. Doing it this way, you might have some plugins that may be kind of jerkish on you, but next time you start up Kodi, everything should be okay. So basically this is now installing it right onto the hard drive itself. So once you reboot the system without the USB hard drive in, everything should be back to normal again. So I'll just show you something working if I can do this. It's going to be a little laggy right now because it's going to want to update all the plugins. So I'll see if I can get to it in time. Not sure if it's going to work today.
This certainly is a money-making machine. Jose, we really appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much.
You should actually wait till it's done updating all the plugins, but what I'll do now is I'll just reboot the system quickly and show you that you can boot now back into your normal system. I'll just hit the menu button. Okay, so what I'll do now is I'll unplug the USB hard drive. Well, I'll unplug it first and then unplug everything and then plug it right back in. I'll leave the mouse plugged in. Now this time when I plug it back in, it'll go right into the old firmware this time, and I should still have Kodi 14.2 installed. Okay, so I'll go back to the settings just to show you that everything's still fine with it. If I can focus. Okay, and there's the original 5 gigs was only free before instead of the 99 gigs. And we installed Kodi.
Just to show you that it never affected your original system. It'll say 14.2 there, and all is well. I'm just going to boot right back up into Kodi on the other system really quickly here. Okay, so I booted back into the my modded firmware one. I just wanted to show you guys something in Kodi quickly as well. If you happen to get kicked out of Kodi when you try to open it up, it's just because the USB is busy. So now if you go to File, your STA1. Here's my firmware file that you guys copied to the FAT drive. So this is basically where you'd copy all your movies and stuff to. So just be careful you don't delete this guy here. And that's it. So thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please leave a like. I'll continue making these, I guess. I'll see if I can come up with another version maybe with a complete firmware so you don't have to do the U-boot. But I'll look into that later. Alright guys, thanks.